Hello, welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be discussing whether or not, based on the rumours and what we currently know, you should consider selling your old GoPro cameras in order to upgrade to the new GoPro 11 as soon as it comes out. Let's get into it. So let's address some of these rumours. So the first of which is that 4K will go up to 240 frames per second. It's very impressive in this day and age to get 4K 120 on most cameras. So to go 4K 240, I'd definitely like to see it. Another thing that we may see is that 2.7K will go from 240 frames per second to 480 frames per second. Now, I'd go out on a limb here and say that that is unlikely to happen, because why didn't we see that with the GoPro Hero 10? So another rumour is that we'll see new lenses. Now, I'm surprised we haven't already. And these allow you, once you take off this front lens protector, to attach different lenses, like the Max Lens mod. Or you could get third-party ones like an anamorphic lens and also a macro lens. So things that I think are possible are maybe you could get a vlogging lens, especially if they do go to the 1-inch sensor. So something a lot of people want, and I do too, is the ability to connect wireless microphones through Bluetooth or otherwise without having to attach the media mod and all this kind of cumbersome stuff, or the Pro mic adapter. So hopefully that's something they can work out. So maybe they can bring out their own wireless mic system too. A lot of people have been talking about wireless charging. It's not really something I'm interested in, because the way I use an action camera, I just chuck in a battery, chuck in an SD card, and then if the battery dies, whip out the old battery, put in a new battery. Having wireless charging is not something I'm interested in. And I think the more kind of electronic components and stuff that are on the outside, the more that can go wrong, especially if it means that the battery's built in. I think that's a really bad idea. There's also a rumour about internal storage. Now, I think there's potential for this to make sense. So if they increase the bit rate of certain modes, say 6K or 4K 240 if that's included, or 2.7K 480 if they manage to accomplish that. So having very fast memory built into the cameras could be really, really useful. That way, if people don't have the fast cards, they've got something that can do that, and then maybe save a slot for their normal cards for lower speeds. That might be something that I'd be interested in. But anything that doesn't have removable storage or removable batteries, I think is a bad idea in an action camera. So some people swear that 8K is coming. Imagine the heat. It would take a massive jump in technology and heat dissipation in order for 8K to be something we see in the GoPro Hero 11. So I really, really doubt it. Nick Woodman himself has said that by the end of this year, 2022, there's going to be 4 different versions of the GoPro camera, and we're talking mainline cameras. Now, I believe we're going to have a GoPro Hero 11 Black style camera. I thought that there might be something like the Session, but I'm certain that the Bones is what we're going to have instead of the Session. There'll be a new 360 Max camera, and there's going to be a Pro version of the camera. Now, this Pro version might have a 1-inch sensor, it might have faster write speeds, it might have 10-bit color. Now, what 10-bit means is that in color grading, you'll be able to push and pull the colors around a lot more than you can with the standard 8-bit codecs. It also means there's a lot more variations in the color, so there's richer detail. And with that, I imagine there'd be a log profile too, so that would improve the dynamic range. Earlier in the year, we also saw 2 patent leaks. Now, one was for a modular camera system that looked kind of like the DJI cameras. And then we also saw a drone. Now, I don't believe GoPro would re-enter the drone market after everything that happened before. That's too bad of a failing that almost destroyed GoPro for them to ever go back to a drone. Insta360 have become a very powerful company in their own right. Now, the software side, Insta360 are leading the way, and also the modular design just means that you have one camera and it has a 360 mod as well as a 1-inch mod if you've got it, and then the standard sort of GoPro action cam style mod. It also shoots 6K already. I personally prefer to use the GoPro. I think it's higher quality, but this is overall a better option for a lot of people. So it's a very scary time for GoPro right now. I think they're going to really have to pull out all the stops with this next generation of camera in order to keep hold of their big share of the market. Another rumour or something that people really want is an end-to-end screen. For me personally, I'm fine with it being as it is. I think if the screen's bigger, there's also going to be more heat issues, and also it's going to cost more. So with regards to tactics, when you're thinking about upgrading to the next GoPro camera, previous generations I've sold my GoPro camera in order to buy the new one, because you find a lot of people are quite impatient or might not even know that a new one's coming out. So I throw out my old camera on eBay a few weeks before the next one comes out, which will be mid-September. If you aim to sell yours a couple of weeks before that, maybe even today, just list it today, because the closer we get to the release, the more people will be trying to sell them. And then as soon as the new one comes out, the market is going to be inundated with previous generation of cameras. So my advice to you would be to go without a camera for a while if you're considering to upgrade. So let's take this GoPro 10. Now I'm personally going to keep it and get the next generation anyway, because I want to be able to compare the two to give people a real insight into the real differences, the real world differences. But for most people that want to sell the old camera and buy the new one, definitely sell it now as soon as you can, because the worst case scenario is that the new generation isn't quite enough of an upgrade, and then you're like, actually this wasn't worth me selling it or whatever. But you'll be able to buy back the same camera for cheaper, because suddenly the market is going to be flooded with GoPro Hero 10s. So even if you change your mind, you're going to save money in the long run. You'll just be without a camera for a while. And if you do happen to buy the new GoPro Hero 11, you're going to have more money to spend because you sold your camera earlier. That's just my advice. Now, we asked a poll in the new GoPro Hero 11 group on Facebook, links below, about what people want from the next camera. But some of the ones that jump out, that people want it to be the same size as the 10. Oh, I hope for that too, because I've got a lot of accessories, basically all of them. If you saw my previous video, I bought every single accessory on GoPro.com. So if the next GoPro is a size bigger or different, that means I'm gonna have to rebuy a lot of the accessories again, which, you know, a little bit annoying. A lot of people also voted for a drone. They'd like to see a drone. Maybe. I think if they did do a drone, it would have to be like one of those Cinewhoop style drones. I don't see people really trusting GoPro drones after the last one. A lot of people picked 8K. I don't see that happening again. And I would ask, why 8K? What do people use it for? I personally have never shot in 8K, and I don't really plan to. But maybe I'm going to become one of those old dinosaurs that just stick at 4K and never get bigger. Colin Anderson has added, "Are you stupid?" with a question mark. And yes, sometimes I am very stupid, so thanks for that. So Aaron has mentioned he'd like a built-in micro HDMI. Now, we used to have that with the GoPro Hero 7, then they removed it and made it so that you had to buy the media mod in order to have a HDMI port. It definitely is a bit of a shame. So yeah, I'm with you on that one. Bring back the HDMI port. A lot of people want a longer battery life. Sure, why not? That would mean a bigger battery though, so bigger camera, again, that's the caveat. Loads of people want a better sensor. Now when they say better sensor, I'm guessing they mean a bigger sensor, so it has better low light capabilities. So the problem with this is, you can get a bigger sensor, but if they also increase the resolution, each pixel size will still be small and it will counteract the low light ability. So they have to come up with some sort of middle ground. Now for me personally, I prefer it stayed at the same resolution as the 10, but had a bigger sensor for better low light. I think that's a great idea. But then we have the depth of field problems, so it's just like, well, there's a lot of caveats to everything they do. And I think GoPro likes to keep it simple, because you want to please the most amount of people. A GoPro should be simple to use and save all the extra stuff for the Pro version. So I think that's going to be the way that Nick is thinking, based on the phone call that he did with the board, etc., and all the shareholders earlier in the year. Matthias has asked for 1000 FPS in 720p plus. You know what? Like he may have been having a little bit of a joke, but if they achieved it, by God, that's an action camera, isn't it? 1000 frames per second. It doesn't matter the resolution, it's just capturing that slow-mo footage would just look amazing. Now, I love slow-mo, and I think 240 frames per second is pretty great. You know, if you're running through a load of birds, you can see them flapping really slowly, it looks excellent, but 1000 FPS. Wow, yeah, I'm with you on that one, mate, definitely. So, as ever, discuss in the comments below, widely accepted, and also if you come and join us at the GoPro groups, then we can carry on the conversations there. And if you do hear anything about the new GoPro Hero 11, or you want to stay up to date, then come join us there. And as ever, I'll see you on the next one.